Today I made the Annihilarrgh from Ben 10 Omniverse. The Annihilarrgh, also known as the word on screen that I cannot pronounce, is the device first seen in Season 1 of Ben 10 Omniverse. In its debut episode, it deletes the universe. The universe was then remade seconds later by Ben himself as his Celestial Sapien transformation, also known as Alien X. Now that we all know what the Annihilarrgh is, let's get making. So first things first, I need a 3D model and print the whole thing. And like most of my prints, it needed a little bit of extra attention before it was ready to go. After looking over all the parts, I realized I had messed up, and the parts didn't quite fit together because I mismeasured the hole. To fix this, I grabbed my Dremel with a sanding attachment and widened the hole until everything fit snugly. A little extra hand sanding off camera, and we were good to go. Now it's time to smooth out the prints, because raw 3D printed items tend to not look the best, normally due to layer lines or bad bed adhesion. To smooth the prints, I'm trying a new technique I found online, using spot putty. But the spot putty was a little too thick, so I thinned it down with some acetone. Unfortunately, I had forgotten that acetone eats through plastic and poured it into a plastic cup. Probably not my brightest moment. Once I had the putty properly mixed, I painted it onto the outer casing and the inner button holder, making sure to tape off the hinge so I didn't accidentally turn it into a solid piece. After the putty had dried, I sanded it down, starting with 120 grit sandpaper. This made a ton of dust, so I made sure to use my respirator. I then moved up to a 220 grit sandpaper to get everything super smooth. Once it was all sanded, it was time to paint. I started with a filler primer on the outer casing and the inner button holder. I left the tape on because I really didn't want the primer to gum up the hinges. For the outer box, I mixed up a dark purple, thinned it out, and loaded it into my airbrush. And gave the button a bright red finish. First a matte coat for a solid base, and then a red chrome on top to really make it pop. The silver on the button holder was a little too bright and clashed a lot with the dark purple of the outer case, so I gave it a black wash to darken it up. After that, everything got a nice glossy clear coat to seal it all together. Once the clear coat was dry, it was time to put everything together. Added a good helping of super glue to the bottom of the box and hit the button holder with some super glue accelerant, and then stuck both pieces together. After the super glue had set, I hot glued small springs to each peg inside the almost complete Annihilarrgh. I added hot glue to the bottom of the button and attached it to the springs. And with that, the Annihilarrgh is done. Thanks for watching the video. I'm trying to get a new prop build out every Monday, so if this is content you enjoy, please consider subscribing. Oh, and don't forget to like the video.